So set aside your emotions, honey. Set aside your pride. We can make it through. Oh, set aside those silly lies that we both used to make each other.
What is happening, everybody? You'll notice that I'm not on screen. I can't figure out what happened to my webcam, but it is what it is. My computer's slowly been dying here, and so I don't even turn it off anymore. I just put it in sleep mode. But by putting it into sleep mode, it misbehaves. It does strange things. Sometimes the microphone doesn't work. Today it's the camera. It's the webcam. I even tried to bring up a picture of me, just a photo, and it wasn't working. Let me look at the webcam settings again real quick. Yeah, my camera's not even listed. There's my VTuber cam. Yeah, my virtual cam, my GoPro cam, but nothing that I can do to show my face today. So you're lucky. You guys lucked out. You don't get to look at me today. A disembodied salmon, says Ryan Maxwell. Chase Harp, good and you. It's supposed to be about us. That's right. Polly's Cracker here. Polly's Cracker was up in the I don't know, I don't want to dox you. You were near the home of the charities in that neck of the woods this week. Oh, Polly's Cracker says my 8-year-old external hard drive just went out on me 70,000 photos. Oh my God. Yeah, that's what I'm always thinking about. Okay, yeah, well, you should get an external hard drive. You know, you can put your stuff on there. Your computer craps out. At least you have it saved. But it's like, yeah, those don't last forever. I mean, there's something to be concerned about there. Right? So I'm sorry to hear that, man. 70,000 photos. Look at that, dude. Alice Marie Armstrong, oh hey, on the road or on a road trip, but you'll keep me company through the speakers. There you go. Well, Alice Marie, you picked a great day to be on a road trip listening to the stream. What we're gonna do today, if you noticed, for those of you that did notice a thumbnail and the title, was Xavier, right? So last week we watched a bunch of perverted justice, old footage and stuff. Dell on the View, Xavier being a tool, and one of the clips we're going to rewatch, and it's a clip of Xavier on some sort of a news program or something like that, where he's being interviewed, and there's a separate person also being interviewed, and Xavier's going hard on them. It's a woman going hard on her and her website, because she had I don't know if you call it competing website, but she also had a predator watching website. And I checked that website out this week, and you know what? I'll leave it up to you guys to decide. Is he right about this lady? Because it's pretty bizarre. Couldn't you swap your pic for the one you found on the net? It's a question. I probably could. Hey, Monkey Families here. Good to see you. Ramiro-san, Bakeline exclusive. That's right, Ramiro-san. Chase Harp says, Blue Boy is a genius. You know what? I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. I've seen some posts from Blue Boy, and he always kept me smiling. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'm a horrible lornographer overall. But trust me, I know good in you. I know good in you. All right, folks. Well, there you go. You won't be seeing me today. You won't have me to kick around much longer. Hey, baby. I'm outside.
Hey, baby. I'm outside.
There she is. What's up, Amy Ramirez? Good to see you. Chase Harp waiting for Blue Boy to release the rest of the text messages. Yeah, with our good buddy over there, Patrick Teacap, reading out the Lorne text messages. That is brilliant. This I do know. That Patrick is brilliant at doing Lorne for us. I mean, where would we be without him? It sure would be a far duller a far duller lornography if we didn't have Patrick to read the text messages. So good on him. That's brilliant. All right, Brick Newton's here. Jameson, no video today, huh? Don't want to be on the news, dog? My camera's not working. You see that green box? Let me double check. Yeah, there's my yep, that one doesn't work. That one doesn't work. So yeah, no, my camera's just not working, man. I don't want to be on TV, dog. Well, it's a little too late for that, dog. All right, there we go. We tried to make it work. Hey, Monkey Femele, thank you for throwing up a $5. Appreciate that. Pat is awesome. Hell yeah, he is. I've actually had lunch and dinner with Patrick. I've had the honor of meeting him twice for some grub and to do a little sightseeing, and he's awesome. Of the people that I've met in the TCAP community, he's one of the finest. One of the finest. Philip Ide, is that his name? I know that on one of the clips she calls him David. David Von Erck, I think. So, anyways, yes, we are filming, says Ryan Maxwell. All right, guys, let's get started. I think you're going to find this really interesting to find out, was Xavier correct? And again, we are going to rewatch just the one important related clip. But in the meantime, let's do this. What's that? Ask Mr. Science. Glad I got here in time. We're responding to some citywide flooding. Yeah, it's raining like a cats and dogs, or nekos and inus, I guess you would say, in Japan. But yeah, it's raining really hard. It's rained most of this week, most of this last week, I should say. Amy Ramirez, I'm jealous that you met Patrick TCAP. That's worthy of being jealous of. I'm telling you, dude is top tier, man. What a great individual, humble, funny, intelligent, all the descriptive words that you would hope that someone meeting him could give, and it's all true. It's all true. The guy's brilliant. All right, Doc Dizzle says Xavier is the king of the neckbeards. Dude, he is Kevin Smith, man. I'll tell you what. Oh, sure this is Salmon and not Nathaniel using... Nathaniel, how long have you been around, Big Kahuna Burger? It must have been a minute if you're bringing up Nathaniel. Someone needs to do the Nathaniel retrospective. I tried to do one like 7 years ago, and 0 people were interested in talking about him. I think the wound was a little too fresh. But it's time now. Maybe we can get somebody like sort of kind of bored, or some of these folks that do these long form deep dives into people. So maybe somebody can maybe we'll be blessed with a long form video about Nathaniel Trevor one day. For those who don't know who Nathaniel Trevor was in the community. I don't know who can help me out. Ramiro-san, do you know how many years ago that was? I want to say it was like 7 or 8 years ago was his last appearance in the community, but not positive. It could have been 10. I don't know. Ramiro-san says 2015, so 9 years. Good memory, dude. Good memory, man. But he was a guy that was in the community years ago, and was blamed for all sorts of wrongdoing. He was just a goofy guy, like in my experience, because I never directly interacted with him. Just a goofy guy that did Lorne content, but he was putting out like a handful of videos a day about Lorne, and it's hit or miss. His laugh was a little bit forced, so but the sheer volume of content that guy did is worth looking into. So I think Nathaniel Trevor's stuff is still out there. I think there's a Ye Old Lornography, is that channel still up? Because I think that was mostly Nathaniel stuff. But Ramiro-san, today we'll be analyzing Lauren's MySpace page. That's right. that was a popular go-to with Nathaniel. All right, folks. I think I have this video paused on the segment that I want to watch with you, and let's go through this. It's going to be a few minutes, and then we're going to follow up on what Xavier says in this interview. So let's see if Salmon paused this correctly.
This is all one side of this claim. Meanwhile, there is a controversial website that is being used to out possible child molesters. It's called pervertedjustice.com. Members of its team pose as minors in general internet chat rooms, and they wait for adults to engage them in sexual conversation. When this happens, the team checks the adult's identification and then posts all sorts of information about that person, home phone number, you name it, all over the website. Is it a good idea, or is it potentially dangerous? Xavier Von Erck is the founder of
David Von Erck, right there. Listen, tell me she doesn't say David Von Erck.
Is it a good idea, or is it potentially dangerous? Xavier Von Erck is the founder of...
Oh, she does say Xavier. Sorry. Sure sounds like David. Xavier Von Erck, the way she says it. All right, here we go.
Pervertedjustice.com, this website we're talking about. Julie Posey is a cybercrime fighter who has worked closely with police on these kinds of cases. Justice.com. Members of its team pose as minors in general internet chat rooms, and they wait for adults to engage them in sexual conversation. Information about that person, or is it potentially dangerous? Julie Posey is a cybercrime fighter who has worked closely with police on these kinds of cases. She disagrees with the website's tactics. She's with us via phone. She actually had planned to be with us here in the studio, but as luck would have it, her flight was late. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, Julie Posey is the one we're going to look a little deeper into, just so you're aware. So let's listen to what Julie Posey and Xavier Von Erck, a.k.a. Philip Ide, have to say about this. He looks like the average r/atheism user. Nice. Printo, what's up? Good to see you, man. And don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Brick Newton. Yeah, if you guys could do that, I would really appreciate it.
Xavier, I'm going to start with you. You have some convictions under your belt. You have some arrests under your belt. This includes something as early as this past Monday, right?
It actually includes today. We had a teacher in Cincinnati arrested on child porn charges just today.
Really?
Yes.
So what happened in that case that you were involved in?
Well, he was in a chat room, as most of them are, and he was trying to hit up one of our underage profiles. We took it to police. They did the investigation. They found some child porn, and they're now charging him with solicitation and pandering.
Oh, under your belt. A little double entendre. Yes, exactly.
Since you've been involved in this website, how many arrests are we talking about?
Who said that? Ask Mr. Science says this gal has a permanently confused expression. Totally.
We're talking in the last just 7 months, over 25 arrests and 6 convictions, not to mention that we helped locate an abducted girl in Washington State.
Wow, you did. Julie, you have also worked with police, although not with this website, in helping them catch child predators. How do you feel about what pervertedjustice.com is doing?
Well, I strongly disagree with it. It leans more toward perverted than it does justice. They're not cooperating with police at all. It's more of an...
She's got the deer in the headlights look, right? Okay, so here Julie Posey's going at perverted justice and says it's more perverted than justice. Just wait until we look into what she's involved in.
Entertainment site, actually. You go there, you click on a link of a picture, it takes you to that person's chat log, and that person has a scale, a sliminess scale, as he calls it, and you can rate the pervert, as he calls it, from, I think it's 1 to 5. Mm-hmm. And, to me, that kind of gives a sense of entertainment. Anybody that finds entertainment value in exploiting children, I have a problem with it.
Xavier, how do you respond?
Julie Posey seems to be the only person on the planet who's finding entertainment value from our website.
Oh!
We have assisted in...
Shots fired. Good for you, Xavier. Hit back, right? I do. I'll stand by my assertion from last time that Vonner comes across as a real dickhead. He's well, he's the early version of a lot of these current day predator catchers that have such chips on their shoulders that I don't know. It often seems like it's not as much about catching the guys as it is about gloating about catching the guys.
25 arrests, 6 convictions. In fact, in the last 5 weeks, we've had 11 arrests, indictments, or convictions. If you go by the full year with that ratio, we will have more arrests, indictments, and convictions than Julie Posey did in 7 years. Why? Because, thank you.
Thank you.
Because we have told the public, we've told you, the viewing audience, that you have a role. We're not like Julie Posey, who tries to be the cybercrime fighter, doing it all herself. We say to you, the public, you can help, and you can help fight this epidemic.
Let me make sure. You have only adults posing as minors. You don't have...
Only adults.
Right. There are no minors working with you.
No way, no how.
Okay. There...
It's interesting, too, because they have 2 different kinds of websites. You'll see that Posey's website almost is coming at it from a psychological standpoint or something. Perverted Justice is clearly a troll site looking to expose these freaks, and then not only that, not just get them arrested, but posting their phone numbers, asking their members of the site to contact the employers, their families, this sort of thing. Posey's approach is a lot different. We will see that in just a minute. Let's finish up this interview here.
There are 2 sides of this, of course. And Julie, I want to just read you an email I got from a viewer who checked out the website. And here's what she says. Her name is Holly. She says, it's been almost 20 years ago since I was lured to Chicago by a child predator who met me over the internet. That's when the internet was a seed and everything online was a chat room. Thank goodness for people who are willing to make sure that no one has to go through what I had to go through. What do you say, Julie?
What do you say, Julie? I like your comment there, Ryan. Do you like helping the public? Sure, we all do. Join Perverted Justice and help the public today.
Well, I say, that's too bad she did have to go through that, but I'm also saying that he is not doing it right. And I will also say to the public that, yes, I do it by myself, and the reason for that is because I know that my stuff is quality, and the only reason that law enforcement even accepts my phone calls is because I have separated myself from the vigilante movement.
All right.
Yeah, right.
Xavier, let me, in all seriousness, because we're talking about children here, we're talking about their safety, and we're talking about law enforcement. Mm-hmm. In every case, do you contact the police?
In every case, since September of 2004, we contact the police. Unlike Julie Posey, we don't take donations. We don't ask for money. We haven't turned our group into a link to our own online store.
Okay.
Yeah, like I pointed out last time, not yet you haven't. Not yet.
Okay,
so
well, let's not make this a personal attack on each other, because we're really about, everyone here wants to make sure that we protect the kids.
Julie is a poser.
This is another email on the other side.
Hey, Javon, good to see you, man. Julie is a poser.
And this one's for you, Xavier. This is from Bill Rem. He says, at first glance, perverted justice seems like a great idea, but the actions that the people at PJ take go far beyond simply outing someone. They take the nuclear bomb approach and negatively affect innocent lives as well. And I did some searching, and there was actually like the case of a woman, a Milwaukee banker. Her phone number was posted through your site, and she had nothing to do with the person you were after.
Actually, in that case, it was a phone number who was posted of someone else. The phone number was then canceled and recirculated. Had she just contacted us, we would have took it down immediately. But instead, she went straight to the media.
Okay, dude, but that's not her job to reach out to you. And maybe she doesn't even know. If people are trolling her phone number and she answers and they say predator and they hang up or something, doesn't mean that she knows where that came from. That's pretty funny, dude. If she had just contacted us, we would have taken it down. Bad argument.
As for these people being innocent, They're soliciting children. You read the chat logs yourselves. We don't hide anything. We want you to be aware of what we do and what happens. It's an educational service.
Xavier Von Erck and Julie Posey, thank you both for being part of this discussion. If you'd like to give us your comments on this, please go to our webpage, Dayside.
All right, you guys. There we go. Now that's Von Erck's statement, and Julie Posey we've heard there. So now, thanks to the Wayback Machine, we're able to visit Julie Posey's website. This website is now up for grabs. If you'd like to own the web address pedalwatch.com, I think it's up for like $3,000 or something like that. So a wise investment. So this is a look at her website from let's see, 2006. I just chose a random date, so April 13th, 2006. And yeah, I mean, I don't think we're missing much. There might be some images that didn't load in, but so welcome to pedalwatch.com, your resource for keeping your kids safe from predators online and in the local community since 1996. For keeping your kids safe from predators, online and in the local community. I don't know how I read that. Since 1996. Here we go. So at this point, she's 10 years in, allegedly. It says, with nearly 60% of the convicted offenders in the U.S. living next to us, working with us, worshiping with us, and associating with our children, it is important that parents and guardians of children become aware and educate themselves about offender behaviors and how people from all walks of life gain the trust of children and later violate them. Pedalwatch.com is a website dedicated to the protection of children from predators on the internet and in the local community. The overall goal is to prevent the abuse of young people through awareness, education, and information. Everyone has a responsibility in the protection of children. We must all come together and do our part to greatly reduce the number of young person abuse victims worldwide. Okay, so a laudable goal, and certainly a nice sound premise to base your website on. But you look under and you see what's new. Is your spouse, partner, or family member addicted to CP? Take the test. So, well, I took the test. Is this the test here? Yes, here we go. Check this test out, folks. This was the first thing that tipped me off to maybe Julie Posey has a different approach. Okay, this article was apparently written in August 2005. It says, is your spouse, partner, or family member addicted to CP? Okay, we're going to take a test to find out. You tell me how long it takes if, well, let's see how she words it. This test is not intended as a diagnosis of an addiction or a psychological disorder, but should be considered an early indication that help is necessary to protect any children that are associated with individuals who have many of these behaviors. Okay, if you answer yes to many of these questions, it is time for you to take action, get help, and work on protecting yourself and your children. So, the baseline here is if you answer yes to many of these questions. I'm going to pose that if you answer yes to one of these questions, that it is time for you to take action. But according to Julie Posey, if you answer yes to many. So let's go through these questions. Number one, does it seem as though the viewing, collecting, or trading of CP is causing problems in your spouse, partner, or family member's life? Now again, if you answer yes to many of these questions, not to one of them, that is when it's time to take action. So let me reread this first one and tell me if you think answering yes to this alone is enough to start taking action. Let's read it again. Does it seem as though the viewing, collecting, or trading of CP is causing problems in your spouse, partner, or family member's life? All right. So let's assume you could check that one off and say, yes, I feel that it is. Hey, Sprinkle Cake, there she is. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, James, that would be slightly slightly problematic. If not, then go wild. That's right. It's not causing a problem. Well, I don't really see it as causing a problem in their life. Okay, well, let's try the next question then. Has the viewing, collecting, or trading of CP interfered with your spouse, partner, or family member's ability to perform at work, school, or other activity? Again, isolating just the first part of this question, we're working on the premise that we're talking about somebody who collects or trades CP. Okay? Yeah, Javon, even if it's not causing problems, it's still bad. Oh man, look at that layout. You like that? Look at this. This is from 2006, baby. With all the little boxes to hold your text and everything. Okay, so again, I would suggest that if you answered yes to, break it down to the first part. Do they collect or trade CP? Now is the time to act. But she's got this weird, I don't know, goal to make it a quiz and suggest that you have to first answer yes to many of these. I could save her a lot of time because look, there's like a dozen questions here. Here's all you need to say on there. Here, take this quiz. Do you know somebody that collects or trades CP? Get help. Act. That would have been it. That's it. That's it. Right? It's the same with a drug addiction. Is your loved one or spouse addicted to drugs? Yes, get help. It's not, does your spouse's addiction to, smack, does it affect their life? Does it affect their daily life? Does it affect their ability to perform at work or school or other activity? All right, let's go to number 3. Again, if you answered yes to those first two, it still might not be enough to act, according to Julie Posey. So let's look at the third one here. Does the viewing, collecting, or trading of CP cause your spouse, partner, or family member to fail to carry out responsibilities or meet obligations? What if you could answer no? Well, no. They're collecting and trading it, but it doesn't really, they still go to work. They still mow the lawn on the weekend. So, okay, well, if you answered no to that one, it's not yet time to act. So let's go to number 4. Is your spouse, partner, or family member spending money on CP? Number 5. Has your spouse, partner, or family member promised you that he or she would never look at CP after being observed looking at it, only to find out that he's still involved in it? Again, if that was the only question on this quiz, if you answer yes, there's no more need for other questions, right? Number 6, have you discovered that your spouse, partner, or family member jacks off, masturbates while viewing CP? Have you discovered that? Again, if you answered yes to this one only, it's still not enough to act. Number 7, does your spouse or partner or family member take risks in order to keep viewing the illegal CP? Well, I would suggest that yes, simply by owning it, you are taking risks to keep viewing this illegal CP. Number 8, does your spouse, partner, or family member spend more time jacking off than having actual sex? Does your spouse, partner, or family member have fantasies about having relations with young people? What is this? Number 8, has your spouse, partner, or family member ever had an important relationship end because of his involvement in purchasing, viewing, or collecting CP? Number 9, does your spouse, partner, or family member spend lengthy amounts of time alone on the internet? And number 10, does your spouse, partner, or family member act out inappropriately, including making comments about the development of young kids, having interactions with young people, or inflicting pain on himself or a partner during a romantic act? she ends this quiz with, if you know or suspect that someone you love is involved in or addicted to viewing CP, I urge you to take action. Contact your local law enforcement agency to seek the help of a therapist to ensure the safety of your family. So, no, the fact that she was out there doing anything is good, good for her. She spent a lot of time making this website, learning HTML, and but it's just it's humorous, and I could see Xavier von Erck not having much respect for this gal when she has quizzes that say, if you answer yes to many of these questions, it is time for you to take action. So that was that I wanted to share with you. Now I have something really alarming to share with you from this woman's website. That wasn't as alarming as it was just bizarre. Hey, Mitsuyo says, did she have a movie made about her defending our kids, starring Annie Potts from Ghostbusters and Young Sheldon? Oh my God, Annie Potts. Did you guys ever see Corvette Summer? Wasn't that Annie Potts? Let me look it up. I think that was her. Annie Potts, Corvette Summer. Yeah, baby. There she is. I love this gal. Let's see. Oops. Hey, there's Mark Hamill in Corvette Summer. Come on, get out of here, taskbar. There she is. What a doll. Yeah, this chick was gorge. She was gorge. All right, Corvette Summer. I don't know how I got sidetracked. And I don't know if Mitsuyo, if she did a movie. Defending Our Kids, starring Annie Potts. But yeah, Annie Potts in the cruising vessel, the stabbing cabin, the van that she was driving is epic. She was so rad. Look at that poster. Ryan Maxwell. Let's get a Corvette Summer poster in the collection. Meow. That's right. All right. So what was I going to show you next? We've already looked at, is your spouse addicted to CP? Okay, now here's the most alarming thing I'm going to share with you guys. Can I close that? Yes. An average day in the life of an average online pedo. She goes into great detail about the average day in the life of an average online pedo. And it's such a weird, I don't know, it almost seems like, why even have this on your site? And she almost romanticizes it or something, or almost excuses it or something. It's like, why do we need a detail of this guy, the average life, average day in the life? But I'm going to go ahead and read it for you. I'm going to do my best to edit out anything that I think YouTube will bring the hammer down on me for. So let's try this. An average day in the life of an average online pedo. Despite the fact that he had only been asleep for 3 hours, Charles reaches for his PDA to stop the ascending level of beeping noises that tell him it is time to wake up. He jumps from his bed, races to complete his 10-minute shower, shave, and oral hygiene ritual combination. He quickly gets out of the shower and logs onto his computer while getting dressed. He has his favorite chat rooms bookmarked for instant access. He logs more chat room conversations than I do as a cybercrime fighter. In all caps. Self-appointed. Charles's screen lights up like a Las Vegas casino within seconds of entering one of his most frequented chat rooms. Instant messages fill every corner of his screen. They all know what he's there to see. Want to trade? Got pics? Hey, I did the nasty with my niece last night. You want to see? Hey, I got a new series, very hot. You want me to send? He downloads as much as he can, as fast as he can. All of the well-seasoned expert collectors and traders that Charles knows are very blatant and openly discuss their likes and dislikes. They aren't too ashamed to give him the most coveted imagery of young people through young teens in every imaginable act, and a few that you may have never imagined. Charles has seen all of the material usually available in chat rooms, ranging from fondling, touching, kissing, of innocent victims being violently accosted and forced to endure the pain of bondage and torture. Still, there's an incredible urge to see and own even more. Charles is very proud of his collection. He actually prefers girls between the ages of 11 and 11. Wait, X1 and X111. But he gladly accepts all offers of magazine scans, digital photos, videos, and audio files of young people from the youngest you can imagine to a little bit older. It's always nice to have something to trade, and when he and his buddies run out of new and fresh material. Oh, it's always nice to have something to trade when he and his buddies run out. Hey, Kayla. Scott! She didn't read it out with the appropriate emphasis. The wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. Thank you for that, Maxwell English. Scott. He has established a network of trusted contacts around the world. He has communicated with many of these like-minded supporters for years. They've always been there to help fuel his darkest fantasies about having many kinds of contact with young people. Charles has already spent 2 hours on the internet, adding a few hundred megabytes to his collection, but now he better leave for work. He does have a couple of minutes for some self-supplied gratification before he races out the door. He prints out a picture depicting a young person involved in an act with an adult male that appears to be in his mid-30s. His eyes are quite focused on the picture as he meets his immediate needs. It seems he is way overstimulated these days. Again, so far, I'm really curious, why even have this on your website? It's almost like fan fiction or something, right? I mean, she doesn't go into the nitty-gritty details, but I am censoring, for those of you can see on the screen, I'm censoring out, quite a bit of stuff. But who is this for? Who is this article for? We all can get the gist of what a chomo probably does to satisfy their sick urges. But I'm going to keep reading it because I know what it takes to satisfy my sick urges to expose this website and see what you guys think. So, it's almost 8 a.m., and Charles hangs his jacket over the back of his chair before sitting down at his desk. Suddenly, the bell rings, and kids burst through the door, so now we know where he works. He's a teacher. That's nice. Suddenly, the bell rings, and kids burst through the door and run around the room like wild animals, shoving backpacks and lunch bags under their chairs. Charles smiles at young Katie. Her parents just went through a divorce, and Katie's mom works 2 jobs just to keep her in clothes and put something besides macaroni and cheese or hot dogs on the table. Macaroni and cheese with hot dogs, my favorite all-time meal, by the way. Nice try, Posey. Let's see. He thinks there must be a way that he can help Katie and her mother through this hardship. He makes a mental note to remind himself to talk to Katie's mother about him giving her a ride to and from school. It's the least he could do for a struggling single mom. Okay, dude. If you have a teacher that's approaching you to offer to give your kid a ride to and from school, it's time to talk to the higher-ups, all right? While the kids storm the cafeteria, Charles eats the frozen entree he heated up in the teacher's lounge before returning to his desk. He discreetly gets out his PDA to check his private email before classes resume. He notices a quick note from Corinne, a 12-year-old girl he befriended in a risque chat room just a couple of days ago. She apologizes for not hooking up with him online and tells him that her mom is at work and she ditched school again for the 3rd time this week, and it's only Wednesday. She signs off just before telling him that she's lonely and bored. Charles quickly responds with his cell phone number and tells her to call within the next 20 minutes or any time after 3:30. He waits and hopes that she'll call before the lunch hour is over. He really would like to hear her voice and match it with the picture that she sent him. All the way absurd. Good to see you. Yeah, this is scary stuff. Yeah, Predator fan fiction, I think, dude. Posey was working on this for a long time in her head before writing it down. Exactly, dude. She didn't just wing it like, oh, you know what, let me just slap out a quick story about what, might happen in the world of a collector of CP. This is something that she was mulling over for a while. Here we go. He waits and hopes that she'll call before the lunch hour is over. He really would like to hear her voice and match it with the pictures that she sent him. The school day is over and Charles is ready to go home. The 10-minute drive seemed like an eternity when he's in a hurry to get home and get back on the internet. Oh boy, here we go. The front door has barely closed behind him when he already has his dress shoes off and is ready to change into something a little more comfortable, his underwear. Charles sits down in front of the computer and turns on the webcam and makes sure that the microphone is connected, and then clicks the link in his browser to take him to his favorite chat room. He's been known as a regular in I Love Much Older Men Too Much for months. What? Let's see is that a real thing? I love much older men too much. Hold on a second here. This will probably get me on a watch list. Is that a thing? Search Google for I love much older men too much. No, okay, good. It's not. I probably shouldn't go searching random things from Posey's article. He's been known as a regular in I Love Much Older Men Too Much for months. He has the best of both worlds there. Men and women who share many of his same fantasies are there, so he can stockpile a few more multimedia files and be the first to chat with the young people who pop in out of curiosity. He configures the chat client to automatically accept every file that anyone wants to send. After returning from the kitchen with a few slices of leftover 4-meat pizza and extra cheese stacked on a styrofoam plate, just an odd detail to include, right? All the way up through, that's how they get you. Yep, that's how they get you. Charles hears the techno tunes of his favorite song coming from across the room. He quickly looks for a place to sit his food at his desk that's littered with an array of candy bar wrappers, empty potato chip bags, and aluminum soda cans. Oh my god, I wish my camera worked. I could show you guys. I have aluminum cans and chip bags on my desk. What does that say about me? Interesting. All right. He hurried to pick up the all-in-one hands-free earpiece microphone and answered the cell phone. Charles is delighted to know that Corinne got his message and is calling him from her bedroom while her mother is at work. He asked the preteen all of the usual survey that almost every other young person mole, Esther, does while carefully screening potential victims. He wants to know her height, weight, hair, and eye color, date of birth, location of any birthmarks, scars, tattoos, piercings. Is that a thing? Is that what they do? That's interesting. I never would have guessed that that's what they do. Like, I got a checklist first. Hold on a sec. Yes, I know your age. Okay, you're way too young. Let me go over a few things with you. What's your weight? Okay, your hair, eye color, date of birth. Okay, you got any birthmarks? How about any scars? You got any scars, tattoos, piercings? Do you have proof of insurance on you? It was almost the same line of questions one would find on a driver's license. There you go, application. Except that he didn't ask if she wanted to be an organ donor. Oh, I'm going to leave that joke alone. He didn't ask if she wanted to be an organ donor. He did ask for bra, panty, and ring sizes, and one most valuable question that the inquiring mind of every skilled predator must know. Honey, do you have a V card? The kids seem more comfortable telling him her life story. Corinne is an only child living in a one-parent family. Her mother and stepfather were divorced a year ago after her stepfather was convicted of multiple counts of DV-related charges and sentenced to over a decade in prison. Corinne's mother never was 100% certain about which of her two lovers she had at the time was actually her daughter's biological father. Okay, the social commentary, I guess. Until the joyous moment of Corinne's birth, there was a list of 3 possible fathers, but one was eliminated after it became obvious to the mother and her friends that the baby was white. Period. Dude, what is she doing here? Don't call me Lorne. What's up, man? Good to see you, bro. So glad to have you in our Discord, man. What is she trying to say here? Yeah, Jesus Christ, she's giving everyone a backstory, a hearty backstory. This is fan fiction, man. Like, there's a point to be made here, and I get it. Like, let's talk about the single parent, the single child, single parent, with, you know, the paternity is up in the air, and the mother's at work, and the kids got free reign of the internet. There's a point to be made here. But the way she's going about it with this elaborate story from, like, an erotic fiction site or something, almost, I mean, it's, you know, write a book, I guess. Write a book if that's your thing. This website, I just question who it actually helped. I don't know how she was helping people, you know, the cops catch people with this website. Anyways, it all seems a little strange. It all seems a little strange. Let's see. So there was a list of 3 possible fathers, but one was eliminated after it became obvious to the mother and her friends that the baby was white. There had never been a DNA test, but the mother didn't see any signs of Arabic genetics in the little blonde-headed, blue-eyed little girl. Instead, she always speculated that it had been one of the middle-aged white men she was seeing that contributed to that pregnancy. What was the purpose of all that? Why do we need to know that? Charles shifted the conversation back to the topic he was most interested in. He worked to engage Corinne in an interactive bondage fantasy of his while he had her on the phone. Corinne isn't completely naive when it comes to talking about such things, but she can't really understand some of the explicit acts that Charles is describing. The man explained that he'd always be gentle and patient, and that he understood her very limited experience. He promised to enhance her knowledge, and offered to guide her through some adventures of anatomy and self-discovery. He strongly encourages Corinne to give him detailed verbal feedback throughout the series of step-by-step lessons that he is giving her. Oh, we're almost over here. Almost done here, so... Charles has always considered himself an expert at multitasking, and by most people's standards, he's an avid pro. By most people's standards. That means, you know, the majority of you guys watching right now would agree. This guy's, hey, he's your average pro. While having the very intimate phone conversations with Corinne, he was also having a very explicit chat with Tammy, an XIII-year-old from Ohio. Actually, it seemed more like he was auditioning for a leading role in an adult film. While broadcasting various acts from his webcam to Tammy's desktop, neither Tammy nor Corinne was aware that the other was having the same identical conversation with Charles simultaneously. One heard the audio version and one saw the video edition. Well, as much as he hates to, Charles decides that he must go to bed and get his usual 3 hours of sleep before having to get up and face another day. He doesn't bother to clean his browser history, cache, or stored passwords because Charles is one of hundreds of thousands of predators online that knows that his odds of getting caught are about 1%. There you go. Julie Posey's fan fiction. In the news, let's see. I don't know. I don't know if you guys were as shocked about that as I was. It just seemed like a really odd addition to this woman's website. So let's see. Julie Posey media appearance. Listed below are just a few of the hundreds of places where Julie Posey was a radio talk show guest, television news, or talk show guest, or newspapers that covered her work. So, I mean, she was, you know, Fox News, BBC News, Rob Nelson Show, The Montel Williams Show, CBS The Morning Show and CBS Evening News, CNN The Point, German TV for some reason, Michael Reagan talk show, Hot Talk with Tony Gill. I don't want to know what Hot Talk with Tony Gill was. She was in magazines, Glamour, Newsweek, Teen People magazine, Time magazine. She was in assorted newspapers, internet news sites, Wired.com, ABCNews.com. She was getting her name out there. Now let's see. Predators Among Us. Okay, that was a book that she wrote, apparently. Let's try Learn to Investigate. Oh, this is a separate website, learntoinvestigate.us. Also made by her, right? It certainly looks like it. Created and hosted by Owl Publishing. Okay, I don't see her name listed here. Knowing. Okay, yeah, this is just about people creeping in general. JuliePosey.com. So there she is. Julie Posey. Consulting services, public events. Welcome to Julie Posey Online. Julie Posey is a real-life cybercrime fighter whose dedicated mission is to prevent children from being abused by bad people in the local community and on the internet. Following her career as a private investigator, Julie offers consulting services and continues to make frequent appearances as a highly visible expert on the issues regarding offenders, creeps, internet safety, and cybercrime investigations. In 2003, Julie's work was the topic of a Lifetime original movie, Defending Our Kids. What? The Julie Posey story. Who asked about that earlier? Someone asked about that earlier. Apparently, you're right. You were right. Lauren's novel outsold it. But yeah, someone said, was she part of a movie called Defending? And she absolutely was. Interesting. Defending Our Kids, the Julie Posey story. Now I gotta know. The movie continues to air frequently on Lifetime. Search Google for Defending Our Kids. Full movie on YouTube. All right, well, we might be taking a look at that later. All right, well, now we know. I'll save that link up there. All right, folks, there you go. So what do you think? Was Xavier... You guys have any thoughts about this woman's website or what I showed you so far? There's really not much to the website. She doesn't have like images. I thought maybe she would have pictures of people they caught, people they busted. Feature on Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. Did Julie Posey ever tell Westerbeck to take a seat? Good question. What's up, August Lion? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Anybody have any thoughts about this person? Printo said this is like Stephen King levels of character development. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, okay, here you go. Her story had Stephen King levels of character development. Exactly. Pretty bizarre, man. I don't get it. You know, I don't get. There doesn't seem my purpose to it. Big Salmon, can we play Use Your Words? Not going to play that today, brother. I got stuff I got to do today, but thanks for asking. So anyways, let MST3K loose on it. Yeah, let's go full MST3K on her movie. So yeah, I will be checking out her movie later to see the Julie Posey story. Because let's see, if we go to about Pedo Watch, does it talk about her story? In 2003. Posey has been working with police, tracking predators, gathering information and training since 1996, is highly respected among law enforcement because she has separated herself from the vigilantes and other... Oh, there she goes. She's going after PJ. She has separated herself from the vigilantes and other child advocates, in air quotes, found on the internet. Why is her story important? In her latest book, My Life as a Cybercrime Fighter, Posey shares the dramatic and yet riveting story of how she was forced to endure the pain of inappropriate attention for most of her childhood, Just when she thought it couldn't be worse, she encountered a serial rapper when she was a teen. Posey did eventually find justice in an unusual way and then went on to become a voice of those who are most vulnerable. Okay, so she was apparently, I'm going to assume that's accurate, a victim herself, and that's why she got into this line of work. That works for me. It's a logical and an empowering step, I could see. In Predators Among Us, Posey details the early warning signs of abuse, how the predator works online and in the local community to lure kids into the trap. So that makes sense to me, to write, how they work online, which presumably that was her intention with that fan fiction, but it just came across as like a screenplay for an NC-17 movie or something. She loves seeing her name in print every paragraph. That's right, huh? Posey, Posey, Posey. Yep. Even starting the paragraphs with her name. So I'm going to open that link in a new tab. Is that a book or a movie? Oh, file not found. Wow. All right. Well, I will check out her movie later. It's weird. She's not, I'm not going to go out and say that she's a creep, but, is Julie Posey Corinne? Yeah, good question, Jameson. I'm not going to go out and say she's a creep, but what a weird way to go about it. And, I can see why she and Xavier would be at odds, because they are definitely approaching it from different angles. So was Xavier correct? That's a tough one. Yes and no. I think I understand why he would not appreciate this person and why she would not appreciate him. I thought her questionnaire, her quiz, to see if it's time to get help for somebody was bizarre, because she didn't say if you answer yes to one of these, or like I said, you could have just whittled the whole thing down with, do you know anybody that has or collects CP? Yes, get help. That's the entire quiz. But that's not what she did. She said, of the people you know that have CP, how are they doing at work? How are they doing at home? Do they get their tasks done? Is it affecting their ability to do their daily tasks? Like, what a weird approach. I'll wait to read Xavier's fan fiction before I judge. Good call. Big Kuhneberger's opinion, as the kids call it now, a cringe. Yep, there you go. All right, folks. Moving on. This will be our last little jaunt for the day. So I have a new video coming out. It's Long Beach episode 1, my overdue analysis of Long Beach episode 1. It's coming along great. That's one of the things I have to work on today, Ryan Maxwell, that does not permit me to play a game today. But in that, I am going to be showing, I guess the premise. Come on, Salmon, clear your head. Basically, the premise of my overdue analysis here is it's been 18 years since Long Beach episode 1 even aired, and how much analysis of this stuff has gone on since then. What is there even left to say? So my approach is going to all the stuff that's never been said. Analyzing the Sting House, the analyzing, questioning their reasoning for doing different sorts of set decoration. I have a segment that will that can go into my growing list of reasons to know that To Catch a Predator was fake. Laugh out loud. And in doing so, I was looking for, I remembered that there was, on Reddit, there was a post from somebody who knew Matthew Nash, one of the guys busted in Long Beach episode 1. And so in looking for that, and I found it, and I'll be sharing it in the video, I found this. And I thought we would wrap up the day, wrap up the stream with what I think is a pretty interesting little AMA on Reddit. And it says, ask me anything. I am a camera operator who filmed 2 To Catch a Predator stings. Ask me anything. I filmed for the Bowling Green, Kentucky and Ocean County, New Jersey stings for the show To Catch a Predator. Ask me anything. Edit. So many questions. Thank you guys, but I'm going to take a little break, but I'll be back later to answer any more of your questions. Edit. Do. I'm going away for tonight. I'll get back to your questions tomorrow after I get home from work. So let's see. I thought there was some interesting questions here. Did they ever let the crew eat the confiscated cookies? Please say yes. Blue Legend responds, yes, haha. We did often share the food that the suspects brought after the police searched it for drugs and other things. Now, that seems dubious, and somebody calls him out on it. Was there ever drugs or anything else found in the food they brought? I would have downed all that extra Zima, says somebody. And then here we go. Somebody says, BS. It would take laboratory analysis to find out if the food was safe. I know cops are big on any kind of free food, but I'm still calling BS on this. Yeah. LMAO, did it ever occur that the food might be roofied? Yeah, no shit. Call me paranoid, but I'm not eating anything a predator brought to give to a kid he hoped to interact with. And so yeah, LSD laced snickerdoodles would make for a hell of a story. Nice. I remember one predator brought Wendy's, I think, or maybe that was South Park. But yeah, that seems like a weird one. Like, did you ever share the food? Haha, yeah, we did. We often shared the food the suspects brought. Yeah, dunno. But here's some more here. What if someone who was clearly, what if someone who was clearly flaming had shown up to the house stating that he knew it was a Dateline NBC all along, and then took off his jacket to reveal a Chris Hansen's #1 fan t-shirt, and then pulled out an 8x10 face shot of Chris Hansen for Chris Hansen to sign? Would everyone have had a good laugh, or would the cops have beat his ass too? Because that would have been the best episode ever. Blue Legend responds, I agree, that would have been awesome. If he had shown up having explicit chat logs, he probably still would have gotten in trouble. However, if he just somehow knew we were there without chatting with a decoy, we would probably have just shooed him away. Okay. Does Chris Hansen's wife have the body of a 12-year-old? Blue Legend responds, I have never met his wife. Laugh out loud. Please tell me Chris Hansen hooks up with the actress who plays the decoy. What a question. Well, he's married, laugh out loud. This is from 13 years ago, by the way. He's married, laugh out loud. One of our boom operators did go out to dinner with Casey, the actress, but nothing official ever came out of that. Don't let that get back to Lorne, by the way. All right, he's got enough trouble. Big Kuna Breaker says BOIS. Did Hansen hook up with the actress who plays the decoy? That's a funny question. Yeah, someone says, I always thought that while watching. Damn, that decoy is hot. And somebody else says, why don't you have a seat? All right, having never seen the show, someone writes, is it always the same actress? Can you post a headshot of her or something? I'm curious how young she really looks, since presumably she's over 18. Do guys not realize as soon as they see her what's up? Blue Legend responds, for the 2 stings that I filmed, Casey was the actress for both. Older stings had different actors and actresses. Did anyone ever recognize the girl or Chris? What if the suspects park their car, stay in, then drive off? Could the cops go after them for that? Blue Legend responds, the suspects that did recognize him or the actress would just run and get tackled by the cops. If a suspect drove off, he would still be arrested by the police, I believe. There was a question that was removed. Let's see. How many of the charming men involved tried to weasel out and make a deal of some sort with Chris Hansen? I would say that Blue Legend responds, I would say that most of the ones who actually stayed to talk to Chris did that. It was no use, though, since the police were waiting outside. Joey Greco from Cheaters got his ass stabbed. I wouldn't be too confident if I were you. Yeah, no, Joey Greco didn't get his ass stabbed. That was all fake, unfortunately. I love Cheaters, but it was fake. Okay, this guy says, do you guys do anything to make sure the perp doesn't have a gun? I would think that they must know there's a risk of running into Chris Hansen, and I would imagine they might wish to end themselves and perhaps Chris. Blue Legend responds, excuse me, whenever there was a suspicion that a suspect had a firearm, the police would just arrest them as soon as they got out of their cars. There was still danger, though, and a couple of times the men who showed up looked like hardened criminals who might be packing. However, most of the time they were just horny old or fat men who most likely didn't have a violent side. And then, then the person responds, Joey Greco got his ass stabbed. And someone rightfully responded, well, Cheaters is staged. That wasn't. Is there a link to it? Nope, video not available anymore. I should have known. Yeah, for those who didn't know, Cheaters was staged. Which is probably why the show isn't on the air anymore. It was pretty cringe. It was pretty cringe, but it was funny. Let's see. I'm glad you guys are taking at least some precautions, but when Chris Hansen shows up, these guys become cornered animals with little or nothing to lose. I don't think you need much of a violent side to decide your best exit strategy is something like I've described. I hope Chris has some kind of Kevlar under that suit. Let's see. Somebody asks, has anyone ever started laughing inappropriately when the perv walked in? Sometimes when I watch, I laugh because the facial expression of the perv changes so quickly, and sometimes they're wearing really funny outfits and or have weird pedo mustaches. Blue Legend responds, honestly, sometimes it was hard not to laugh, but we could control it since we knew that if we screwed up like that, we wouldn't be getting our paychecks. Let's see. Let's see. What's the weirdest excuse you've heard offered by the boogeyman in the stings? Blue Legend responds, the craziest one would have to be this guy who said that he left his computer on at a party and someone was chatting with the decoy, yet he still shows up at the house. Here's somebody chimes in. My friend said that it was a scavenger hunt and that he had to come to this house for the treasure. He used the internet as part of the way to set up the hunt. I thought that it was weird that the scavenger hunt was for beer and condoms, but he's a really nice guy, and I just played along. Yeah, I haven't heard that one, but that's pretty good. Let's see. This person said, how do you feel about the ethics of this series? Specifically, how do you address these criticisms? Blue Legend responds, personally, I feel the same way Chris does in that. The decoys were hit on first by the men, and the men did take the time to show up at the house. Yeah, but how many people do you think would actually go through with it if it were the real deal? And Blue Legend responds, a lot. These men were incredibly desperate to get with a young person. It seems like a lot ignored their instincts to realize that they were doing what they were doing and not be an idiot, but instead thought with their other noodle. Yeah, we'll get into that in the Long Beach video too. There's the lack of self-preservation is strong with those ones. Getting those men to bite looks about as difficult as shooting fish in a barrel. I think it's some sort of mental illness they have where good sense just goes out the window. Although I'm all for taking them off the streets, I can't help feeling sorry for them. Blue Legend replies, yeah, I was watching the chat room decoys while we were waiting, and literally less than half a minute after saying she was a 12 to 15-year-old, in the chat rooms, it was completely filled with messages from other users. One was slightly retarded and got caught twice. Okay, well, there's only two that got caught twice, so, and both seemed slightly challenged. Should say, point well taken, ew. 13 years ago, someone says ew. I just want to go, ew is right, but can't comment on this anymore. Let's see. Any more questions? Weirdest occurrence while filming? What is Chris Hansen like when the cameras are off? Were you ever creeped out and why? Were you ever scared during the stings? Blue Legend responds, the weirdest was probably where the one guy completely collapsed after talking to Chris for a couple of minutes or so. Chris is a nice guy. He would almost always buy the crew dinner after a successful sting. I was definitely creeped out being a father myself. I felt the stings were important. No, never scared. We had the police right near us anyways, so I was never afraid. Was that the dude who just fell face forward into a wall or some shit? He says he was sitting on the stool, got up for a second, and just face planted into the table. What's that guy's name? Japanese guy, right? Well, I want to say Kenzo. That wasn't his name. I can't remember his name, but I think it started with a K. Yeah, he's the one that face planted into the bar. He won an Academy Award, actually, for that fall, just in case you guys didn't know. Were there any captures that did not air? If so, why? Blue Legend responds, there was only one that I know of. It was a guy who came in the house swearing his mouth off, and the edited version had so many censored beeps that you couldn't hear what he was saying, so we edited it out. That was in the Bowling Green, Kentucky sting, I believe. Who came in swearing their... What? Swearing their mouth off. Kazuo. Thank you. Printo. There you go, Kazuo. I knew it started with a K. And I was going to say Kenzo. Kaz. T-Darling. What's up, T-Darling? Good to see you. Is that T-Darling? Oh, T-Darling. Good to see you, T-Darling. Has it been a minute? I feel like it has been. Let's see. Any more questions? How much does the average camera operator get paid? Blue Legend says, one of the reasons I took the job was because it paid well. I got paid about $15,000 per sting, which is pretty good. That's damn good. The decoys got paid $5,000 per sting. Holy moly. This is a camera operator. That's a hell of a job. Someone said, how much schooling do you need for this career? Also, how hard is it to find work? Blue Legend says, I majored in visual arts from New York University and then took 2 years of film school at Florida State University. I doubt you need the major in visual arts, but a film school degree is required. I had an uncle who is a higher up at NBC and managed to get me a job there. I still film for outside companies, though, too. Prawn? Somebody said, do you film Prawn? No, haha. I had a buddy who did that, though. He said it paid pretty well. I have done filming for several major production companies and indie studios as well. Let's see. Do the Predators being filmed have to sign a release after being filmed? If so, are they given an incentive to sign? If they don't sign, what happens? Blue Legend responds, I'm not completely familiar with the legal aspect of it, but I think we weren't required to have the Predators give consent to put their faces on national television. Honestly, who would sign something that effectively ruins their lives? I remember hearing once that consent isn't required if a crime is being committed is filmed, but I don't know if that is true. The only consent forms we gave out were to the police officers who arrested the suspects. All right, folks, how much do they pay to hold the boom mics? Yeah, hopefully the boom mic guys are getting 50 grand a sting. So 15 grand, I mean, because how long does a sting last? A weekend? Dude, that's 5 grand a day. You know, our buddy Dan Shrek was only getting 5 grand for the weekend. Not 5 grand a day. All right, my friends, that is it for the live stream today. I appreciate you guys all for being here. Maxwell English, thanks for coming in and saying, Scott. I appreciate you guys all being here. Hopefully that was something interesting. I'm happy to share it with you guys. I will be checking out the Julie Posey movie, and maybe we'll talk about that. How about the staff who had to clean the Sting House? Yeah, no kidding. Well, I'll be getting into that in the Long Beach edition briefly, so look forward to that. We'll talk about set decoration and some odd similarities between Sting Houses. Again, put it on the checklist for the reasons that TCAP is fake. But all right, guys, that's it. Please don't forget to delete your floppy disk in archives, says Big Kahuna Burger. Please give me a thumbs up on the stream if you enjoyed it. This is, again, a little something different than what we've done in the past. Similar yet not similar. And, I wish I could be on cam with you guys so you could see my lovely face and my dramatically overgrown sideburns that need a severe trimming, but it is what it is. By the way, Miss Salmon will be home this week. She's doing well in the recovery of her surgery for her torn rotator cuff. I see her every day, unless it's raining, storming terribly, which it was a couple days this week. But yeah, she'll be coming home this week. That ought to be interesting because then she has 3 months of recovery, and I will be head of household, doing all the laundry, all the dishes, helping her get dressed, this sort of thing. So wish me luck. That's why I really need to get this Long Beach video finished in the next few days, and what I will be doing today. All right, guys, that's it. Love y'all. Thanks for being here, and I will see you on the next one.